This is the Brick Commentary Central. You're listening to the BCC Podcast. It is Monday, November 14th of 2022, and you're listening to episode 330 of the BCC Podcast. I'm LQ. Joining me today is Ford.
Good evening, everybody.
And Mace.
Hello.
My voice actually suddenly feels a bit hoarse since we started. I felt fine just before this, but of course...
It sounds a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with it. Oh well, It's been a long week.
Tell me about it. So...
Yeah, but we're doing a long-awaited episode. We're going to be talking about Ninjago Crystalized again. This
I've been
time
waiting to do this for a month.
Yeah, has it been a month? I guess it has.
It has about, yeah, since I watched it.
So,
man.
Yeah, me and Kevin, of course, watched it like right away when it came out. But Mason Ford here, they didn't watch it until a while afterwards. So, and there's been some other stuff to be brought up since, you know, it happened.
That's it.
We're gonna get copyright struck now.
Great, thanks. Now I have to wait another month before I can talk about it.
That is the exact clip that got copyright
Destroy
struck.
the Overlord is the power
So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fine.
You must embrace your Oni side.
Having a fair
Still
use.
going? Yeah. Yep, it was. Okay. Get out of here. Yeah, I don't know how that one happened.
Yeah. So, for the record, I still have not gotten to read all of the Garmadon comic. I do have all 5 issues. But I haven't
don't worry.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to 4 and 5 yet. So,
It doesn't tie in.
yep, that's what you told me.
Yeah.
So glad I spent all that time tracking down the last issues. Getting you the variant covers that you needed. And everything.
I mean, I still am going to try and get the other variant covers that I missed. Actually, one's sitting at the shop. I need to go pick it up tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, Garmadon was a flop, in my opinion.
I think it was just a flop in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
It got no marketing. I mean, I had to be reminded that it existed by you because you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
It was
I didn't
constantly
like. I
delayed,
thought,
too.
yeah, and then I thought like, oh, it's gonna, it's only a 4-issue miniseries. And then you told me, oh no, it's 5. I was like, what? Because I never bothered to open 4 to know that like, oh, it's continuing after this.
It slowed down real fast.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But that's a shame. But also today we got new set pictures, but you already made a video talking about them, right?
Yes, I did. We'll probably talk about them more in the future when we get some, more high quality pictures. All the ones we have now, basically, someone got a hold of the dragon set and they took all these other pictures from the instruction book.
That dragon, man, like
It's good.
It's something.
It's a 6-legged dragon, and I find that pretty interesting.
Yeah, like I think I mentioned it like in our chat, like, oh, it's like they didn't know what to call it, so they just gave up on calling it something. Like it's a dragon creature thing.
I don't remember core. Also, they're using words like core and evo without really having a meaning for them as well. So
Yeah. But I mean, like, on the whole, the sets do look better than the first run.
Kinda.
Kind of.
I mean, there's at
Like,
least 2 good sets.
It feels like they've fleshed out the concept a little bit better, but it's still not quite there. Also, Bone King.
The villains are better, than the...
Yeah.
But
Hashtag Bone King.
Uh,
I don't know why I find Bone King hilarious.
okay, there we go. I finally got a trailer up. Yes, this could probably be done more eloquently than I have.
Elegantly, not eloquently.
That's what I said, Ford.
No, you said
No.
eloquently.
I'm
With
afraid
a Q.
Ford is correct.
Yes. Like I
Not
am
to
a
betray
lot
your
of the time.
heart.
There we are. Okay, there's some
It is a good
visual
picture.
interest.
Hmm.
Well, it's not just a picture; it has audio, which I'm trying to figure out if it's playing that, or I think I muted it.
I don't hear it on our end, but
Okay, it should. Well, I don't have feedback going.
yeah, let me check.
I screwed that up a lot in this last time we did it. It's not
Mhm.
as easy to add these on OBS as I think. I probably just need to be learning the program better. We've only been using it for like 5 years.
Yeah, we're good. I don't hear it on.
All right, so we've already talked about the basics on this show, talked about the audience reception. So let's talk about you guys.
Hi, I'm Ford, and I'm a scientist. I do it for a living. I also am a Lego fan who spends way too much money on interlocking connecting bricks.
How about you, Mace? Are you a scientist too?
You know,
I'm not. I'm afraid.
you know, I'm something of a
All
scientist
right, you're
myself.
core qualified then, so I'll start with you.
Aw.
Okay.
So, what do you think?
It was definitely one of the seasons ever made. The the ending fight was just over in 5 seconds, so that disappointed me greatly.
Yeah, that is something that as time goes on, I can't figure out why the pacing was so bad.
The
Did
ending
we
of
really need a
Dark.
whole
Yeah,
road trip
the
episode?
ending. Yeah, the ending of Transformers: Dark of the Moon was longer than the fight in this show, and that had
I
a
don't
movie.
think pop culture remembers Dark of the Moon well enough to get
Okay.
the.
What-
I know
what's a-
I don't.
What's a
and I don't even
recently
hate the
rushed
movies.
fight?
It's a good question. Not one I can answer, but it's a good one.
The She-Hulk finale drew it out longer than
Did you
than
watch the
Ninjago
She-Hulk
did.
finale?
No, but a friend of mine did. Which, God bless them. Seriously.
Okay, also the trailer I had in here just broke entirely.
Oh yes, it did.
I don't even know
Oh,
what's...
no.
Fun. But
Okay, it might be
okay,
working
there
now.
it is.
Also, the Crystal King's face looks a little bit too much like a furry.
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a dragon.
It looks like a fursuit
Well,
mask.
wait, don't you remember the original Overlord face?
Yes. I think I liked it better.
Did
Yeah,
you?
I am not convinced that the Crystal King was always supposed to be the Overlord.
Oh, I am totally. Why would you think not?
Well, like, they don't mention him as being the Overlord much. He doesn't really have a lot of the, to me, maybe, but he doesn't have a lot of the visual iconography that you would expect from the Overlord, which I guess is okay for like what they're going for. Like they're trying to make him ambiguous at the beginning, but it just doesn't feel the same. You know what I mean?
It does. It's still the
It doesn't
crystally
impact
energy.
the thing. And the crystals, like, they just kind of come out of nowhere. Like, they literally come out of nowhere, like, as they, in the story.
Yeah.
They just kind of, like, one
And
just
they never
kind of
have
appears.
any explanation.
Yeah, one just kind of appears after this girl with white hair just magically comes back to life after being buried under rubble and being given, like, superhuman powers.
Well, I mean, you
And
could say
that's
the
it.
same thing about last time the Overlord reappeared, where he just came back as a computer virus.
Eh,
I still kind of object to that, even now.
I mean, I think the idea is
yeah.
every time the Overlord comes back, he adapts in some way. based
then
on like how he
loses.
was
So wait, so
previously
you're
defeated.
so he made the jump from Doomsday Clock to computers, and then back to
And then to Crystal.
Earthbound Crystal. What?
He watched
So-
a lot of Breaking Bad, and he
It's
got
like
inspired.
we're evolving just backwards.
So remember, the first time he was defeated, it was by like the golden power. So when he came back, he took on basically the golden power. And the second time he was defeated by, like the elemental ice power, and that's why he took advantage of the Vinge Stone and the crystals, which mitigate the ninja power in vehicles.
But then, if that's the case, like, why'd he take so long?
Well, we don't exactly know what the rules are. We know it had something to do with like conflicts, but of course, then why'd he come back so fast and rebooted?
Like, yeah, they said like, oh, it's because there's more conflict. Oh, come on.
But I mean, from a lore standpoint, that should make sense.
I mean, yeah.
But the
like,
problem is
we
how
haven't
fast they brought him back for season 3, and the problem with that
Yeah.
was because they were literally so rushed that they didn't have time to figure out what they're doing on season 3.
Mhm.
So,
But
yeah.
just to me, like the Crystal King did not feel like the Overlord, and I feel like it was maybe like a thing at the very end that they just decided to put in because they wanted this to be the end, which
It's not.
might not actually be. Yeah, it's not actually the end apparently, because they're doing a soft reboot. I guess I don't know. Does anybody know what's going on?
No one does at all. I'm not sure that Lego even does. I know that it seems to have very little oversight going forward, so I'm not trusting it.
Oh boy.
Maybe it could be the best thing ever. Who knows? But I have my doubts.
Mhm.
That's the thing. I actually, because in preparation for this, I went back and like skimmed through the last episode again.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so one of the biggest like gripes everyone has with this season is Golden Oni Lloyd.
He's barely in it.
Oh yeah, that
barely
was
in
a waste
it.
of time. We spent so much time getting there.
And
For
even so, like when
nothing.
Garmadon comes back after the fake out, and he's and Lloyd's like, the Golden Oni, it didn't even work. He's like, yeah, because you're afraid of your own shadow. It's like, Garmadon faked his death for nothing. Basically, 20% of the season was for nothing, and it feels almost like it's supposed to be followed up on, but there are no plans to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if this wasn't the end, they could actually try and follow up on that at some point, actually have payoff, but there won't be, which makes it weird. It's like, for a lot of this, you can tell they put a lot of ideas into it, and then they did not know how to follow through, and some people didn't care. Tommy Andresen had a response, because there have been certain continuity errors found, too.
Boy.
Not
I
huge.
love those.
Biggest ones are in the last episode, there are some animation errors.
Why?
So for one scene, you remember Scott?
Yeah, from Prime Empire.
Yeah, so he's a person, right? He's a human being.
But then he looks all like,
Yeah, for one scene he
digitized
looks
or whatever.
blue again.
yeah.
And then also the fungus wizard. How the end of Master of the Mountain, he gets all cleaned up, right?
Mhm. But he's still like all dirty.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
There's
Guys, you're supposed to have the budget to work this stuff out.
there's a portion of the final episode where the ninja are holding the golden weapons when they should be destroyed.
Okay, that one's funny. I like that one.
Also, yeah, there's other things in there I didn't catch. I've seen on Twitter, and I'm going by something Tommy Andresen
Well,
retweeted
actually, no. Wait,
here.
this is starting to make sense with why the final fight was so over and done with, because they didn't have the money for anything but that dragon model. But that
That's
dragon
not
model
true.
cost him so much. I'm just being funny here, right? Like the dragon cost them so much money that they could only have it in for like a minute.
This is
And
computer
all else
generated
went.
too, so it's you don't get those excuses anymore like back when they had hand drawn.
No, you don't. You don't. Oh man, it's just ridiculous.
So yeah, I'm pulling up a tweet now from Tommy, retweeting
Also,
someone else.
Penn, if you're watching this and Oh, you're probably not. Not right now, anyway. But Pen, if you're watching this, that last song is still cringe. You cannot change my mind.
Well, if you guys see, I think I sent you some of them. Oh, and why is now the trailer replaying? Oh, Meso kind of turned into a meme.
Yes.
There,
It's
go check out
perfect.
Meso's channel. It's literally just all songs going over the ending, and almost every one of them works better.
The What I've Done edit is perfect.
There was a serious edit that's thrown around. I made one of them too. You can find it out there somewhere. I forget where I actually put it. But with the Return to Ninjago, which is the same track that played at the end of the pilot and at the end of season 2, the final battle, as well as other places.
That's what it should have been.
It's really what it should have been. Like, they dropped the ball hard there. And I think that left a worse taste in a lot of people's mouth.
Because, like, the problem is they thought, we can do something new, but also, harken back to the old stuff. But you didn't do any, either really all that well. And the new stuff you did introduce, it's not going to have the staying power you think it's going to have.
And yeah, I know our friend Penn likes that song, but I'm sorry,
cringe.
No one else does.
It's cringe.
That's the worst. And we got a meme out of it, so I've heard Dareth talk so many times in that same line over and over at this point. But no, let's examine this tweet here. So he talks a little bit about some of the stuff in there, like Lloyd calls the dragon armor golden armor, which that one I can let slide though. It is still golden armor,
gold, yeah.
But he refers to it more so like the Overlord armor, which from March of the Oni, and then Garmadon tells Vinny he was resurrected from the cursed realm, which that's a problem. Tommy tries to say here that the curse he was inside the cursed realm, inside of the departed realm. I don't like that explanation.
Well, wasn't the cursed realm turned into the departed realm once it
No, it's
departed?
in the departed realm now. Remember Kaiju Protocol?
Right. Oh, right, because they brought it the preeminent back.
Which that's an issue in itself that they are ever able to do that, because you're not supposed to be able to, get someone from the departed realm like that. The Traveler's Tea shouldn't be able to go there.
Right.
But I mean, they're trying
because that was the whole thing. Like they had to close the circle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We can only do it
like
during
the
the
last time
yin-yang moon.
Yeah, and that was like the last time you could open or like have an opening to
Kaiju Protocol is a stupid episode that honestly we could remove from canon and it makes almost no difference.
Mm-hmm.
The Wild Brain era has its issues. The Fire and Ice chapter especially.
Yeah.
Also, they talk
when
about
they were just getting started.
Lloyd completely forgot about Mistake, and that is kind of an issue as well, that they didn't even bring her up, and I chalk that up to the writers sometimes just don't go back and think about stuff, and
that's the thing, like the writing in this season was very careless.
Which is odd, because like I said, we go back just one season to Seabound, which had very good writing, and was actually one of my favorite Ninjago seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Or Master of the Mountain, which actually had very good writing and reference back to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I read a take today that Seabound was a better series finale than this.
It was.
I
would have been more satisfied with that, as I think most people would have, because it felt more emotional.
Because it was impactful.
What do you think, Mace?
I do agree. And them immediately undoing everything that happened in it was annoying.
Yep.
Yeah, like imagine at the...
That was the most egregious thing this season, was Nia.
Yeah.
But
that didn't need to happen. That shouldn't have happened. None of that stuff with Nia should have happened.
Tommy said that he wanted to give the happy ending he would have wanted as a kid. Well, I'm sorry, Tommy, you didn't have good taste.
Yeah. I think Nia should have stayed as, the water thingy.
Yeah, they should have at least not given her powers back, but they literally made it no consequence whatsoever.
And immediately, too, literally the next season, all consequences scrubbed away.
Yeah, that's the point where it doesn't feel just like either a little bit of laziness or mistake. That kind of felt insulting to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
They'd say that was the biggest insult to the audience that they had all season.
Yeah.
Although spending so much time with the bounty hunter and the
Oh, yeah.
singing girl, kind of a
Yeah.
waste of a season.
I mean, I didn't mind Hound Dog, but then I like other people realized and pointed out to me since, why was he here?
I mean, the best parts of those episodes, or actually no, because Fugitive was before that, right?
Oh no, Fugitive was during the Hound Dog stuff, and
Okay,
Well,
that
he
was
was
the
a
best
good
part.
addition.
Yeah.
He was good.
yeah, that
We
was
need
the
a-
highlight of the season. Oh, the first half of the season, I think we forget, was really solid.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was until we realized that all the junk that didn't need to happen in the first part is what made the second half so weak.
Remember,
should
though,
have
the
been
second
two
half
different
still
Because you
had
could have used that time to flesh out the second
the
half.
second half
better.
was still longer than Master of the Mountain.
I liked Master of the Mountain.
Yeah,
thought
I
it
know,
was
that's what I
pretty
mean. Master of the Mountain told a more complete story in less time.
Mhm.
good. Yeah.
Like they had too much to cram in because they didn't space it out as well. That's the problem.
They had the
Could've been
time,
2
even in the
seasons
second half.
easily.
The second
Yeah.
half is full of filler.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like I feel like the difference between Seabound and Crystalized to me is like the difference between or actually the inverse of Agents of Shield seasons 4 and seasons 5 or seasons 4 and 5. So season 4, for those of you who aren't in the know, it decided to do something a little bit different where it took, the sort of 2-act season structure and decided to turn it into 3. And it made for a really tight story and where everything came together right at the end. And it was really nice. Like it was paced so well. It was great. But then season 5, they did in a rush because Inhumans was a spectacular failure.
Was season 5 the time traveling spaceman?
Yes, the time
Worst
traveling space
season.
rocks with graviton, and that's the worst season, and that had the 2-act structure, and it just dragged out like way too much. And it was just filled with stuff that didn't make any sense, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Like Seabound was, it had all this stuff going on, and it had this nice structure to it, and is paced pretty well. But then Crystalized
Seabound did have Riddle of the Sphinx, though.
That is also true. but Crystalized, it's packing in all this stuff because it's like the anniversary season, right? Like, like Agents of Shield season 5.
No, it's not the anniversary season. That was March of the Oni.
But anyway, or not really it's trying
Actually, no,
to
March
end...
of the Oni wasn't either, was it?
Yeah, I'm thinking more like
10 years
trying
was
to
in
end
between
this...
these two.
Yeah, I'm thinking anniversary season. I should be saying like it was supposed to be like end of series kind of thing because that's what that's what both shows are trying to do. But it's trying to cram way too much into it, just like Agents of Shield did, to try and bring some finality to it all. It just doesn't work.
I will say, I don't really remember Agents of Shield trying to cram too much in. I remember there not being enough going on.
Yeah. I'd say like it's the opposite for that. But even then, like there's still not enough going on in much of of Crystalized. Like, yeah, the plot moves and that's fine, but it doesn't really move in a way that
Well, remember, the crystals aren't
you want it
introduced
to.
really until halfway through the season.
Exactly. Like,
And
it should have been introduced
To be
earlier.
fair, the first half of the season actually is
It
incredibly
is good.
enjoyable.
I'm not saying it's bad, but the problem is that it makes the second half worse because there's so much filler, that we did not perceive as filler in the first part. When we were watching it the first time, we didn't see it as filler, but that makes the difference when you get to the second part and it just has to cram all this stuff into, just the same length of the
Like
season.
the Paper Boys, which weren't even in the first half, but they cram it in anyways.
Yeah.
If I never see the paper characters again, I'll be a very happy man.
Yeah.
I've not
And-
liked them throughout they've been the worst part of the Wild Brain era.
Mhm.
I mean, I liked their first episode, but after
I didn't like that
I liked
episode.
the first one, but after that, all bets were
Honestly,
off.
I don't like Fire Chapter much at all. It's worse than
Uh.
Crystalized to me.
Oh yeah,
Jeez.
for sure.
Like,
Well, I thought it was okay.
It wasn't awful.
I thought it was okay.
No, the only Ninjago like that I cringe having to try and rewatch is the island. The rest of it, even this stuff, like it has a lot of issues, but it was still very enjoyable to watch.
Mhm.
Crystalized just like crapped all over Ronan and it destroyed it.
Yeah.
Not
At least they
Crystalized,
tried
sorry,
to
the
undo
island.
that a
The
little
island.
bit.
The Crystalized did better with Ronan, even though they had to kind of weave their way through to try and explain it. And yes, Ronan is supposed to be a character who will still go and commit crimes and stuff. It's just the island handled it so poorly and forgot about any of like the personal connection side of it. They still could have had the same story, but acknowledged that stuff, and it would have been way better.
So yeah, I was disappointed with the pacing at the end. I did like how they were trying to do this thing where all the ninja are scattered, so they kind of like each episode kind of focuses on what they did during like their blackout.
Though also
I
another
guess.
issue with that I found.
Like I thought that was okay, but it felt like it was just a little too.
The city battle though also felt way too similar. I'm realizing to the Seabound finale.
Yeah,
Like
it felt similar to that, but also it just dragged out.
and the Seabound one was better.
Yeah, like Seabound, like you could see the stakes.
There was
right?
way more. There is no real emotion during the last part of this season.
And like you knew what had to happen during Seabound for them to get the win, and you knew how bad it was going to be, and you saw how bad it was at the end with Nia, becoming the ocean, I guess. But this, it felt like the stakes weren't there because
Okay,
like,
let's talk about Nia a bit more.
Yeah, because it's just like, I know it's going to happen, but whatever.
Yeah, let's try and get some structured conversations out because we can just go and pick stuff randomly all day long. But let's talk about Nia a little bit more. Like I said, I believe that is the single most insulting thread in this entire season. There's ways they could have fixed it, though, and still had generally the same thing.
I wouldn't say it's insulting, more so just disappointing.
It's insulting. It's insulting to the intelligence of the audience.
Mm.
By and large. That's something that actually, makes me angered at the writers. Is what you faked out for no good reason there. And you could have brought Nia back. I was okay with it even at first, just getting rid of her powers. And you could have even actually brought back her powers. But here's the thing. There's going to have to be consequences then. If Nia's powers are coming back, that's got to mean that someday she's going to return to the sea. That would have been interesting then. Like, Nia's back for now, but since her powers are coming back, slowly she's going to go and return to the sea. Maybe not even for years, but eventually.
I remember you telling me this, that after they turned Cole into a ghost, there was a huge uproar about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were going to do something like that with every ninja, like make them different.
That's why I recall the
but then Day of the Departed was a thing, was because they had to reverse that because the fan outrage was so big.
And in part, they also realized they made a mistake. But
I feel like they were trying to do something like that here.
But there's no fan outrage over Nia becoming the sea.
Yeah, but they had, they had the way of making it work, and everybody accepted it because it was done so well. It wasn't just like, they went into the house, but Cole didn't make it in time, and now he's dead. It's like, no, she made this sacrifice. It was nice, it made this nice narrative flow. It made sense for the character. Boom, let's keep it. And everybody was okay with keeping it. But you, the writers, had to be like, no, we have to bring her back because we got to have the full team for the finale or whatever.
That, or I do wonder if there's corporate mandates that the show probably is going to continue in the same plot to some extent afterwards, and they still want to sell toys with Nia.
Probably.
So therefore, they're like, well, we've got to have Nia. You can't just leave her like that. And I think one mandate might have been for the new writing team. Everyone has to be alive for the writing team to work. Because I wouldn't doubt if that was a mandate. I don't know for certain. They won't admit it if there is. We'll talk about Tommy's excuse in a moment.
But she's also, this core character, and you can't have the full cast of Ninja without the core, without all the core characters. You could just have
Skylar take her place.
Well, yeah, that would be the creative decision, but none of these people are creative anymore. None of the people at Lego's writer room are creative anymore.
I wouldn't go
What's
that far.
going on?
I wouldn't go that. I'm not going to insult every single one, every decision they made, because Ninjago, by and large, still a very enjoyable show.
Golden Oni Lloyd.
No, I'm not saying they didn't make bad choices, but we don't know where those came from exactly. And that doesn't mean that no one has any creativity. It means that someone screwed up. So,
Okay.
we know they can do better than this. They have done better than this. Why they did it, I don't know. Part of it, I think, was Tommy's vision for the ending. I think there might have been some influence by Lego. I want to know what the process for creating the season was like in the end, because I have a feeling there was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that we don't know about.
All right. So, but yeah, I wasn't really okay with the whole bringing back Nia thing. I thought it was clever how they went about doing it, though. Like
Also,
bringing in a
OBS,
Sphera and
I
all that. I thought
apologize
that
to
was
people
interesting,
watching
but-
why the clips are really shoddy and everything. OBS is not actually allowing me to fade stuff in anymore. It's just kind of popping in all the time, so...
Very weird.
There it goes. I don't know. Oh, I see the issue here. So I was trying to use groups. This new group feature, and the group feature seems to screw stuff up. Weird. Okay, I was a new feature. It must not be totally ironed out. I'll have to send a bug report later. But I want to jump off that point about writing a bit more here. We talk about Tommy said sometimes like 20,000 pair of eyes
20 million.
yeah, are likely to catch something that one pair doesn't. He screwed up in this answer. You want to know why? First off, if you only have one person reviewing their script, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, if one person is being paid to pay attention, it
Mhm.
should be only very, very small things.
It's
that get
obvious
past
Ninjago
them.
does not have a lore master.
Yeah.
Tommy kind of did that, but Tommy isn't always the best lore master. Like, remember, just below this tweet, if you anyone goes out and looks at his Twitter, you have the Splinter in the Blind Man's Eye, which is a could-be canon story. I have an issue with the could-be canon stuff.
He does write a lot of pseudo-canon.
And the thing is, it immediately contradicts the same with the books and the Garmadon comics is the show is usually pretty good about canon, but everything else around it, they're not tight about.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but either way, more than one pair should check, and even if that's the case, own up to your freaking mistakes. If you let these things slide, it's not okay. You know what? One person usually writes a book. And books aren't allowed to just screw up like that. Maybe you're on a time crunch, maybe there's all this stuff. Well, then say that. Don't...
Well, maybe books today.
I don't know. Maybe people don't write books anymore.
Yeah.
But no, people...
Well, it's just, there's this lack of care for continuity in canon.
And, okay,
right?
to be fair, we don't want to go that
it's
far
just
because...
writers right now.
Ninjago...
And I hate to see that same thing happen with, a property like Ninjago. Because it does have a robust canon. It does have a robust
Now, we're not going to
continuity.
say it's just writers like now. If we want to go back to Star Wars back in the day, Star Wars always had these issues.
Oh, I know that.
This is nothing new. It's just that they're not learning from that stuff.
But
Marvel had
it's just
these
that,
issues. Star
nowadays
Wars.
it seems like it's becoming kind of a boon. I mean, even recently there was like this article from, I think it was one of the guys who wrote the Obi-Wan show, and he was like, "Oh, I hate that I had to adhere to canon." It's like, what? I mean, that show is terrible, and it's completely non-canon in my eyes. But what? Are you kidding? Like, why are you not concerned about this stuff if you need to be concerned about this stuff? And I worry that that sort of way of thinking is going to be infecting other properties, much like it. I mean, it already has.
Here's the thing: this isn't new. In fact,
I know
it's the
not
norm.
new.
It's always been the
but
norm.
I fear that it's going to become
worse
like
for
a
Ninjago.
mainstay.
Oh, I'm sure.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily become a norm yet, but it is becoming a norm.
Remember, again, though what you're talking about, I think you might be losing perspective. this was always a thing with everything. If you go back to like TV shows before the 2000s, how horrible
I
the
know.
continuity was in all of them.
Are you kidding me? Like, one of my favorite shows is Boy Meets World. Okay? In that show, it establishes that Sean Hunter, one of the main characters, has a sister and like 4 half brothers. But by the end of the show, he only admits to having 1 half brother.
Mm-hmm.
We never hear about the sister ever again, or any of the other half brothers ever again.
And yeah, that's why and I really hate that. I've always hated that with all these types of properties. And
Also they start in the 6th grade, but then by season 5 they're seniors in high school. Just, weird stuff like that. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, so I just want to make it clear that it's not an issue that it's new. It's the issue is Ninjago has proven it can be better than this. And yet they're not holding themselves to a standard that's better than this.
Mm-hmm.
And again, acting like people won't care or it's not a big deal. It's always been a thing. I don't get it with a lot of these people in Hollywood. That's why, I've been on this year really on a Tolkien, what's the word? Yeah, kick. And something I really respect out of him is how much effort he put into the canon. He was really like the guy that established what it meant to have a canon and a lore. Previous to him, you did not have fantasy worlds with a lore. And he established that, and it is amazing. Because it makes the world feel bigger, more lived in, better. And that's why we have things like Bionicle G1, which is incredible with its canon. People can nitpick all they want. G1 held to things great.
Yeah, like I've been trying not to compare, like, and even G1 had like some issues.
It had
with
some issues.
Canonicity, right?
It wasn't exactly issues with
But they
canonicity.
weren't,
Issues
like,
with stuff that didn't line up because they didn't know about certain things. And that's how the
Yeah,
evolution
like
of
they
any
weren't
story.
blaringly bad, right? Like they
Mhm.
weren't these huge things that got blown way out of proportion, right? Like Jala, Toa and Nika Jala having 2 swords because that's what it had in the prototype. Like, I can accept that. It's fine.
It didn't
I
really
don't
affect the
care.
story. It just affected how
Yeah, it didn't affect the story.
close it was
just
to the set.
Yeah, exactly. Like which way that the Boda Magna fragment came down on Makuta's head in the end. Like, I don't care.
Again, that's
Right?
that's actually a bigger one, but
That is a bigger one, but like, artist
for
interpretation.
those of you who don't know,
whatever.
canonically it came down on his face because it didn't freaking kill everyone in there. It just scraped the face off.
Yeah. It didn't go through his head because otherwise Metro Nui would be done. And we know by, what was it? Was it Powers That Be or Yesterday Quest where they established that's not the case?
I actually feel like it might be Journey's End.
Yeah, where no, it's the one where what's her face comes back from the alternate dimension and finds the two Matoran or whatever.
Toya and
Yeah, Tuyet. I'm forgetting her name.
That's not either one. That's that would have
Or is
been
that
in Reign of Shadows.
Reign of Shadows?
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot. So clearly it's not completely destroyed, but it's just kind of dinged up because the robot got dinged up.
But anyway, regardless, as far
But
as
yeah,
like
like,
actual
Bionicle
lore,
yeah, Bionicle
he
had
took
this
what was
robust
written
lore and it stuck to, and I worry that Ninjago's not doing the same, and it hasn't been doing the same.
it won't do the same afterwards. It's been trying, but you didn't have someone like Greg.
But yeah,
Greg
but now
is
you
a great
don't-
lore master.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he
and
cared a lot. Remember, Greg did it until his dying breath that Lego was still
Yeah.
concerned about the lore of Bionicle, and I respect that a lot with him.
I mean, his work is considered canon for Ninjago too.
Greg could have been a great lore master for Ninjago.
He wrote Dark Island Trilogy. I think he wrote a couple other books for it too. But
Yeah,
Dark Island
so they
Trilogy,
fired
that's
him.
considered Dark Island Trilogy is canon.
Yep.
It's on the Ninjago wall of history that totally wasn't inspired by Takua's wall of history. Whatever. Like,
for it to be inspired
it's
by
there.
Takua's wall of history, they would have had to know about Bionicle.
Yeah, that's true, right?
Yeah.
But like the similarity is there. And the fact that his contribution made it to official canon, that's even better. That speaks volumes to
We'll say it's not
all
great.
this. I never got to read all of it.
I didn't either, but I've ever only read the first 2 parts, and it's unfortunately not great. It's not awful. He worked with what he had.
Mhm.
But like I said, Greg's strength was always in being a lore master,
Yeah.
which Ninjago needed, and apparently Lego doesn't even have any of those on staff now. Now that Tommy's not even there, ooh, I don't know what's gonna happen now. But let's not think about the future just yet. All right, I think we've kind of beat Tommy enough here. He's a nice guy. He did a lot of good work, but Tommy, if you ever are listening to this, my only point is people do care about keeping stuff consistent, and they do care about consequences. I understand maybe that's not always the story you like, but I think you should be able to see now with all the feedback, for fans of all ages, that is what they wanted.
Yeah, I will always admire what the team did. Always.
All right, still got some more
for the
time here.
show.
Mace, you got to have some other thoughts and points we haven't talked about yet.
It's kind of weird that they had 5 random ninja for no reason.
Oh
Had nothing to do with
yeah, the
anything.
new ninja. Oh, my. I always forget about them.
Yeah,
What
they
the-
were a good setup for the first half of the season, but it went nowhere.
Remember what I said about cramming stuff in at the end?
Well, they didn't cram them in at the end. They weren't even there.
Well,
Yeah.
no, they were, but then they just got zombified or whatever.
Kind of. And that's
Sorry,
not
they
like
got
they didn't,
crystallized.
not enough to take. They didn't take up any meaningful screen time to the point that they had to do anything. It's
Yeah,
just,
they just kind of existed because we needed villains that weren't our villains for the first part of the season.
which they could have just used cops.
Yeah,
Like they did
topical.
with the bounty hunter.
Yep.
they could have been like, "Hey, Ronan, we need you to, hunt down these guys," and they're like, "Okay, who are they? The ninja." Oh, okay.
Well, they did already
gotta
do
bu-
that once in
I've
the
gotta-
last time the
yeah,
ninja
but
were.
like they could have done that again. Only he's like, "Hey, I need a crew," and he like puts together the crew that he puts, that he has at in the second half of the series,
Yeah, that could have worked. too.
right?
That
Like that would have
totally
been cool.
worked.
Like he gets like Ultraviolet and Kilo and all them because like, oh yeah, I need these guys because they know how the ninja work, how they move, how they fight, and all that. It's like, yeah, they would have been actual like formidable foes for them leading up to the Crystal Generals.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would have been perfect. Instead, you had to be like, oh, we got to introduce new characters for new intrigue.
And they
But
don't
we're
even
never
have
actually
minifigures.
going to do anything with them.
Like if
Yeah.
they even had minifigures, actually that would have been cool because they come with some cool
Exactly.
Oh, they don't even have names.
colors. They don't.
We still don't know who they are. We never will.
They're so just
I mean,
there.
we may never will, I guess I should say. But probably never will.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
sure they'll be just as relevant as the Elemental Masters were, except infinitely less. To the future, to the future.
Yeah, but at least the Elemental Masters got their minifigures.
Yeah, but
Most of
to
them.
the future of the canon, the Elemental Masters and their ability to spontaneously summon dragons mean nothing.
oh, the new ninja are just like what
Biggest waste of potential.
happened? No, they didn't even have any potential. Really, they didn't have any purpose.
They just existed
yeah.
for no reason other than we need villains to set this up or to fill this time.
Which they weren't even
Because-
villains for the majority of that time. They switched to
Yeah.
Hound Dog.
Like we just need characters to fill up this specific slot as the quote antagonists for the ninja, our protagonists,
And again, I would have
so they
completely
can
forgiven
cause
them
trouble.
if we even just got the minifigures because they look kind of cool.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
Yeah, but like these characters, they're completely replaceable. They could have been anybody else that we could have known already. You didn't have to expand the list of characters we're never going to see in set form.
Yeah.
But whatever. And then
All right. Yeah, well, good insight,
Man.
Mace. What else do you have for us?
Okay, I feel like a Dog the Bounty Hunter reference is incredibly outdated for their audience.
Oh, yeah, Dog the Bounty Hunter. Is he still working these days?
I don't think for a decade now.
I thought he got arrested or something.
Well, when I searched
I
dog
thought
bounty
he-
hunter, we got wife, new wife, net worth.
New wife.
Though
What a Hollywood thing to have pop up. Let's see.
I don't think that you like bounty hunters being called dog or hound dog or stuff is actually specific to that.
Perhaps not, but I think it's likely.
But also, they had a bounty hunter. His name is Ronan.
Yeah.
Oh, he was
It's
more
not
of
that
an
hard.
imprisoned pyramid scheme leader.
Oh, he
thing
was
at
on
that
a
point.
show as late as 2019, Mace. So
Well, then I think it's even more likely that.
I mean, yeah, it's probably not entirely unlikely, but I'm gonna see it's not as outdated as. I don't
Well,
think he's in jail either.
Something can run. I was talking about Ronan, but something can run for a lot. Oh yeah, you were referring to Ford. Never mind.
Yeah.
But something can run for a very long time after it became
That's true.
culturally relevant. Cake Boss might still be on TV, maybe. Who knows or cares?
I think Cake Boss is still on, I think.
Yeah, exactly my point. You wouldn't exactly say that the guy from that is culturally relevant.
What are you saying that what's his name?
Yes, I am.
I know his face
What's
if
his
I
name?
see it, okay?
What's his name?
Buddy.
Who?
Buddy Vitali, I think.
Mario Batali?
No, well, maybe that's where I got the name from.
Yeah, I know it's Buddy Valestro.
Don't
No,
know who that
I think
is.
that's closer, but I don't think that's quite it.
No,
But you might.
Valastro.
Okay.
Don't know who
I-
that is.
I do not remember hearing that last name in my life, but I believe you.
That's like saying Gordon Ramsay's no longer relevant.
Gordon Ramsay is a different story.
Yeah, he's
it's
still
like
got his
saying
shows.
it's like saying
yeah.
Wolfgang
No,
Puck is
Buddy
no
is
longer
around all
relevant,
the
and
time
it's
on, like,
true.
He,
Wolfgang Puck isn't relevant.
he I think is pretty old.
Yeah. So is Dog.
But
the
Buddy
Bounty
is like always like judging the competitions they're having and stuff too. So
He's not exactly culturally relevant. Lots of people have jobs. Doesn't make him relevant, especially to 7-year-olds.
I don't know. 7-year-olds probably have moms that watch TLC.
Fair point there. Can't argue that. But I don't know. It feels like a waste of time and space and characters to throw in a whole new Hound Dog the Bounty Hunter.
No, it totally was, and just like Sally was.
Yeah, that one. An entire episode wasted on a road trip with that idiot. Oh my gosh.
The song
could've-
is cringe. She is cringe. Every part of that episode is cringe. Get rid of it, and you will lose.
I wouldn't mind an episode about nothing if
Yeah. If
the
anything, like
episode's about
getting rid of
something
that
once or rushed.
episode, getting rid of that song would add. We would actually add to the series.
I think episodes about nothing have
Oh.
their place. It's just we clearly didn't have room for one in this season.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get it fixed.
Okay. Overlay's going weird.
Yeah.
There we go.
Uh,
I'm
There was
fixing the
something
issues
else.
they're having with the pictures
Just
earlier.
Oh right, yeah. Now I remember. I find it really weird how the whole Lloyd Harumi thing, like that is that is one of the most toxic ships ever.
Didn't Tommy say something like it would never happen?
I hope so, because
oh man.
man, that kid who is 4 years younger than he actually appears to be deserves better.
I think it was Tommy
Now-
who recently posted like what they originally wanted Harumi to look like.
Yeah, with the Spider
Oh yeah,
Queen
the
stuff.
spider thing.
But
That
then they
would've
were
been
like,
cool.
"Oh, but Monkey Kid already did a Spider Queen, so we can't do
Yeah.
a Spider Queen or the Spider Harumi or look." Which I mean, like, I'm not sure it would have really flown well, but it would have been interesting to see.
Yeah, personally, I like the Crystal villains a bit more, anyways. And I don't have issues with the idea of an arc for Harumi. It's just it did not feel fleshed out at all.
But you can already see like they had the sort of spider army DNA in this series already with the little crawlers.
Kind of, but those weren't
So
in
the
any of the sets either.
it's like the
Those
no,
are just jihadists.
well, no, they were there, weren't they?
Are they? I haven't actually built. I do own several of the sets now. I just haven't built any. The Crystal King came today.
Yeah, I thought a few of those little crawler things were in there, in at least one of the sets.
The bigger creatures are, but I don't know about the little ones.
I can't remember which one.
Remember
It
when they used
might
to
have-
have one short person in every villain
I
group?
want to say maybe it was the motorcycle. Which set was it? Talk amongst
Oh
yourselves.
yeah, I guess Jay kind of has. It looks nothing like in the show though.
I think that's what they were going for, though.
I guess.
I think they just needed something tiny and crawly. It's super, super, super common for small robot things from
It's
bad guys
true
to be
also.
spider. Like super common, happens all the time.
Like
for the
in the
tiny
Clone
things.
Wars.
Yeah, and Clone Wars.
I
and
love spider droids and the octo droids, and
Clone Wars was great.
it was.
The prequel era was the best.
In terms of creativity. Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I like
That's
so.
all that really matters with Star
I don't
Wars.
know if they ever could have
It's-
done a Lloyd and Harumi together type thing. Not especially, at least not they would go through in this one season. But
Especially when she just came back from the dead and then started killing him and his friends.
now, to be fair, they didn't really imply that exactly until that one scene at the end, which I'd like
and
to
they
think
both
at
talk
least,
about their feelings for each other a lot in the season.
and which is fine because that's kind of something they just didn't pick up on after Sons of Garmadon. But then you have that scene at the end, and I hope that the police commissioner's there because she's at least on parole. Not just, I don't know, is her sentence wiped clean if someone technically dies? Is like, do they come back with a clean record?
In Ninjago, probably not.
Yeah.
Although
so-
with their police department, probably so.
I'd like to hope. Also, why'd she keep like the face makeup and stuff if she's gonna not be evil anymore? I don't know. I think
Yeah.
it would probably, if Ninjago was to go on, that probably wouldn't have been her final redemption moment. It probably would have been like Pythor, and she'd go back to being evil.
At the very least, the only development she should have had towards Lloyd and all that should have been just him learning to maybe not hate her anymore by the end of the season.
Yeah, but his feeling kind of took a 180 from Master of the Mountain, where he hated all princesses.
Yeah.
Based.
Again, it's a thing where like you can see what they're going for, but it was just executed horribly.
Yeah.
And so,
Oh man.
Oh, another thing that they didn't follow up on at all, the whole Kai and Skylar relationship discussion.
okay, I think that was
No.
handled fine. I like how
Yeah.
Well, they
kinda
didn't
kept it
follow
low-key.
up on it. They said, "Oh, we're gonna follow up on this," and then they never follow up on it.
it's implied that it goes through.
It is implied, but it's been implied that it went through since like season 4.
Well, now
of this
it's
12
maybe
season
over,
TV
Mason.
show.
Now you get to decide yourself. Buy the toys.
Yeah.
They've been implying it for like 8 years, my guy.
Buy the toys, Mason. Then you get to decide the end.
Oh wait, what about Cole and Vanya? What happened with that?
That one's just as implied.
Tommy says
like-
they are not going to be together, but I disagree.
Yeah, I mean it seems kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, isn't she like 12 or something?
No,
No,
she's an adult.
Where did you get that from? She doesn't have the short person legs or anything of the sort.
Sorry, isn't she like 17? That's kind of weird.
That's not. Cole is like in his
Probably
younger 20s
also
at
some-
most. So
Also,
the Ninja are certainly in their 20s, but also it's
been.
it's also been a year since that season. So she's 17, then she's 18 now, and Cole never did anything creepy like certain Bionicle fans do.
I shouldn't laugh at that.
You
That's
know who you
terrible.
are.
Yeah. I shouldn't laugh at that, but it really is that bad.
It is. Be careful out there, kids. Let your parents know what you're doing online.
Yes, get your parents' permission before you go
Before
online,
going
all right?
But they did pair Jay and Nia, and Kai and Skylar, and Zane and Pixel,
I mean,
and
Jay
Cole
and Nia, they're
Vanya
married.
for a
in
shot.
Miles,
That is the
so-
point of what I'm trying to say right now.
That's what
They
people are
paired
saying.
all those pairings.
It was actually a good
together
setup
for
if
a
they
shot.
wanted to do a next generation at this point.
Yeah.
Like that
Which-
that would actually be a good spot.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
I don't think they're going to.
But
No.
yeah.
No,
'Cause
they're
they-
afraid.
they-
They're a little bit afraid to try new things. For
Well,
sure.
yeah,
Unless-
that's the thing. Like they're
Now there is
afraid
a slight
to rock the
possibility
boat.
that they're going to give it a chance with the summer wave, and they give this one shot to see if it works and if it can sell as well as core.
I doubt it.
I think it would sell.
I mean, sell as well as core.
I think it could outsell core probably just because the story sets just give more inspiration. I don't know
I'm
if it
just
would work
laughing
for
at
the store.
sell as well as core. Yeah, because
This is like best case. Best case overall is the soft reboot in the sense it's next generation. I would not only be okay with that, I would be ecstatic. I think that would be cool.
I mean, it would be a step in the right direction, but
Mhm.
we all know which direction they're probably.
Yeah,
gonna
I
go
don't think
in.
they're going to do that.
Yeah.
So, don't have to worry about that one. But,
Yeah, no, we don't.
I mean, again, it wasn't an awful ending. It just is not at all as weighty as I recently rewatched the ending to Season 2, the original final battle. And I think that's why I'm not as upset as other people. I still consider Season 2 to actually be what is basically the climax of Ninjago. Because that was the final battle back then. That was what the legends were always leading to. And everything after that has been kind of epilogue. So I didn't start thinking, Ninjago is just going to keep getting better and better and better. And it did, though, for a while for the Oni saga, which actually overshadowed that. And March of the Oni, people don't remember, is pretty good as a conclusion as well. A way better conclusion than Crystalized. It's extremely satisfying, even though they keep the happy ending status quo. That's how you do a satisfying ending.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, Ninjago's had a lot of good endings. This was an epilogue. This is not the climax of Ninjago. If you look at it like that, you don't have to be angry about it. Not that you shouldn't be angry. I encourage people, if you think this sucked, go let people know, let Lego know, because they can do better.
Mean, like the Wild Brain era did give us some really cool stuff, though.
No, the Wild Brain era had a lot of cool stuff. Like I said,
like
Master of the Mountain and Seabound are great seasons.
Yeah, like they had good stories. They had interesting new characters. I'll always love the land bounty. How cool that vehicle is, and the set is great too.
I need to buy the pieces to actually finish it.
What do you mean?
Remember, I told you there are pieces missing afterwards. Like there's some windows and some bricks missing.
That's impossible.
I sent you the list of what was missing.
That's right, man. I don't know how
I asked
missing.
you if they're under your couch.
I checked. They're not there.
For those of you who don't know, I bought the land bounty off of Ford so he could buy dinner.
That feels like some kind of extortion.
Well, I also helped him price a bunch of his sets, so...
Yeah, I also, I was just looking to get rid of some stuff, and he was like, hey, I want the land bounty.
Ford does have a lot of stuff.
And I am also kidding.
What?
He said he was kidding. Also, the Wild Brain era isn't as long as they would kind of have you think. It's only been barely 3 years.
But I mean, it introduced a lot of cool stuff, but that's really all it did. It just kind of kept it going.
It did some very
it kept it going
things,
after the ending that was March of the Oni.
Again, I think Master of the Mountain was actually an essential story in the Ninjago lore.
Yeah.
I would say Seabound actually is a very essential story in some of the Ninjago lore. It establishes stuff about the creation of Ninjago and how the elements work even. Both of those are significant contributions. Everything else is just not so much. The Fire and Ice chapter, now there's some cool stuff. I like the Never Realm. They've got some cool stuff there. Fire chapter, I actually hate Asphira. I don't think that her arc adds anything
Not
to
a very
Ninjago.
compelling villain.
And a really annoying voice. Stopped it all off.
Yeah, I got so sick of her this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like they think she's funny, but she's not. And yeah, that got so old. I hope we never see her again.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Prime Empire. Yeah, I agree. It didn't. A lot of people don't like Prime Empire because they say it didn't add too much.
Yeah, it didn't add too much to like the overall
But
story, but
I thought
it was
fun.
It was fun. Yeah,
It's forgettable, but yeah, it is fun.
and the island was awful.
Yeah.
Less said about that, the better.
Boy.
I mean, at least the sets were all right. I guess I don't know.
The island minifigures are pretty cool.
Yeah,
I did buy.
They are pretty good versions of.
I bought every single set for the island, actually.
Yeah,
they were built
good sets.
I really wish the Serpentine would exist in this world that they're supposed to be a part of.
What? How like Scales was there at the end?
Yeah, one Scales popped up.
Yeah, wasn't like Scales' son like part of the
I think
Cobra
Scales
Kai
Jr. was
dojo
there
or whatever?
too. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like this entire species of snake of a billion snake.
They also do go to like where they live.
Yeah, and then they went into the sewers and found out that they were all
like,
crystallized.
oh look, there are no snake people at all. Let us walk
They
through the
found
ruins.
crystallized scales. Right?
I don't think so.
Didn't they? Wasn't it
No,
like
I think-
Garmadon and Lloyd? They both went down in the sewers.
Yeah,
I think they just found it abandoned.
Yeah,
if
just
I'm not
abandoned because
mistaken.
Scales
I
there
thought
at the
they
final
did.
battle later.
Oh, right, okay.
Which he hasn't really established. I still don't think Scales is necessarily someone you trust.
I think he's done a decent job of
He
keeping his
kidnapped a
nose
child.
clean. He kidnapped a child?
Yeah,
Oh,
Lloyd.
yeah, Lloyd. It's been a long time since he's been a child.
Yeah, but he traumatized Lloyd.
That's true. That's
now,
true.
Now
I
Lloyd
forget
is
about
like
that.
in a toxic relationship.
That is true. It's all his fault. Someone take Scales Jr. away right now. Someone needs to explain how his wife is pink. Is Scale dyeing a thing in the
It might be, or
community?
she could be, like a blonde.
Yeah, bottle blonde.
Bottle blonde snake.
Apparently a thing.
Well, remember, there's some weird snakes out there, like Clancy.
Yeah, that's true.
They
I
say
like
he's a
Clancy.
hybrid. I assume he's half Venomari and half Anaconda, but
She could be half the vampire Fangpire and half Scales, whatever you call it, but
that's true
Hypnobride.
also.
She could be half that and that. And that's how you get pink, with a little bit of red added, I guess.
Well, the Vampire also already both red and white, so...
Maybe
Wait,
she got shaken around too much when in the egg, and the colors bled.
Does that mean Scales Jr. is a child of an interspecies relationship?
There's the same
Maybe.
species.
Yeah, she is clearly a Hypnobri.
Yeah, but if she's like half Fangpire or whatever, because she's pink,
Then Scales Jr. would be 25% Fangpire.
But clearly, he got the dominance from his father.
Darn it,
is what
I'm
you're
trying to
saying.
remember the Geno stuff. I watched the latest Salmonella video.
Scales kidnaps children. Clearly, his genes are
No,
superior.
like, obviously, it's Ford saying interspecies, making it way creepier than it should be if
Yeah,
like two
it's-
different tribes have children.
It's just two different races of snake person.
Yeah, they're not species. Basically, they're races of snakes.
Okay.
Also, I don't know. It was basically confirmed. Tommy said that darn, what's her name? Aspira is a Hypnobri, which makes sense with the colors. And
Oh, that
everything.
clears things up. Okay.
It's just an ancient.
Maybe a
Hypnobri.
million billion years ago, they had longer necks.
I mean, probably did. The head shape
Just
isn't
like,
that different.
you know.
I mean, if they made the snakes today, they probably just would have looked. The minifigures would have looked more like this.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I'm not
You know,
opposed to it at all.
evolution
It makes
takes its
sense.
course and all that. So I
It would
guess
still would
I
have been
don't know.
cool if we were going to have her again, to have her use some of those powers. But I guess the
They haven't
Hypnobri
used
didn't use them
snake
too
powers
much
in decades.
Yeah, I was gonna say they don't use them that much. They didn't even use them that much back when they had them.
No. Apparently, one other thing I want to bring up before we wrap this up. Tommy talked about there's apparently this is an issue with Canon too. Like Tommy didn't review the Garmadon comic, nor this other comic that was in this magazine that talks about when Jay went to the lighthouse. Echo Zane was there canonically. You know, as far as canonically can go. With
They just
the
never
non-show
unlocked
stuff.
his power.
No,
They never woke him up.
Apparently, that one of the ideas they had for a comic was Echo Zane and the Falcon were going to go off and have adventures.
Aww.
So at least there's some semblance that Echo Zane is out there somewhere.
Good for him.
I'm surprised they never did like a thing where they kind of killed off Zane and then brought in Echo Zane and like plugged his brain in or whatever and like transferred his consciousness or something.
That's so cruel.
It is cruel.
That seems
Echo Zane is his own guy.
Yeah,
really-
he's his own
doing it.
person.
It would really, open the floodgates for, philosophical discussion about life.
I don't think
don't
so. I
think
think it would have
Ninjago's
just been
ready for
creepy.
Yeah. Reminds
Yeah.
me of an episode of Transformers Animated where they did something like that.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. They did that.
Hmm.
But none of you would watch that show because you don't like Transformers, I guess.
And
I've
it doesn't
tried.
stream on anything.
Is it not streaming? It was on Netflix at one point.
I don't
perhaps at one
think it
point.
is.
But
No.
This one YouTuber I watch is always talking about how it's the greatest show ever.
It is. It's not the greatest show ever, but it's a good show. Like if you're getting into Transformers, that's
Transformers
Probably the first one
Animated
you
is
wanna
free
watch.
on Tubi.
is it?
Yeah.
Well, now you got no reason not to watch
It's
it.
on Pluto, Roku
Except we
channel,
have to-
Tubi. It's free all over the place.
Watch
because
it,
we'd have
man.
to download any of those, and why would anybody download any?
I
of
have them all, Mace. Have you not seen these? They're amazing. There's so much free stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, well if it's free, I'll check
You
it
might
out.
have
That's
to
my
watch
favorite
ads, but-
price.
Actually, I
you
think it's
watch?
Tubi has
Yeah.
a channel where they play Ninjago.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
SAS
Better.
rescinded.
It's the old Will Film era Ninjago stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. Watch
No, actually, go check these
Transform-
things out because
Yeah, watch Transformers Animated. Watch Ninjago. You have no excuses.
they have they play a bunch of old movies on these streaming services, a bunch of old sitcoms, reality shows. It's actually, if you just need something to put on check out these services. I would recommend them.
When I'm done burning through the ones that cost money, so I can unsubscribe.
I'm not sure it's going to be able to be a replacement for subscribing. It's more like watching, network. It's the new version of not having cable.
Gotcha. Well,
So-
I already burned through Netflix and unsubscribed from that.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Better Call Saul season 6. Yeah, 6 to come
crap.
out.
Nah.
If that ever ends up happening, I will buy another one. You know how long I've been waiting? Years.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for it to come on so I can start watching Better Call Saul.
I'm trying to see if AMC Plus has like a free trial period. I can try if I can watch they have a 7-day free trial period. I could probably just do that and try and,
Okay.
binge the season. It's not going to be long enough to watch the whole series though if you're doing that.
No.
It's
it
like
isn't.
$7 a month though. So it's like buying a DVD if you just want to watch the whole thing in a month. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, as for all that stuff, it's out there. You can watch
Also, don't forget to watch. Speaking of Better Call Saul, don't forget to watch Better Call Dareth.
Oh yes, that is out there too. I did
Perfect.
something where I actually tried to do a short as well. The short gets a lot more views, but a lot less interaction. But
That's how shorts go. Shorts don't get much interaction at all. That's the thing I don't like about shorts is that they don't emphasize the interactivity that
they
normal
don't.
YouTube videos do. And
But we'll see. I released another video today. I talked about the new core sets. We talked about it a little bit in this episode. Like I said, when we get more details, we'll go even further. Last week I released a Cole minifigure tier list, and was that already a week ago? Huh. Ninjago
Wow.
Overanalyzed out there. The second episode of that is recorded, just a matter of editing. I actually have a lot of different videos that are just unedited at this point, so expect more content coming soon. Any last notes on Crystalized? We're going over time, so...
I think I've said my piece. Pretty much.
All right. As always, you can join in on the discussion in the comments below or on the BCC Discord server. We talk about Ninjago there and all sorts of Lego stuff. So, be sure to check it out. Also, join us every Monday night around 9:15, sometimes later. Check our Discord server if you want a accurate timer to poke us for what's going on. Normally it means someone was late. We are also on Twitter. You can check us out there, follow us, and I will post whenever we go live and about new projects we're doing. Any last words, anyone?
I'm good.
I'm very curious to see what's next outside of Evo.
Yeah, and did I accidentally play the outro at the beginning of this episode? I am sorry. I tried out the new features in the OBS update, and I might have screwed a bunch of stuff up. Alright. But as I said, that's going to do it for us today. We thank you again for watching this episode of the BCC podcast. And for Ford, Mace, myself, LQ, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next episode.